Guys, do you want to support the Sly Guy podcast and help it to improve? Help to get better guests, help to get better gear? Not just for the studio, but for this guy? Then go to patreon.com/Sly Guy podcast, where you get access to hundreds of hours of bonus content. You have extra podcasts, you have guest episodes, you have the Psychic and the Stand-Up, you have the Champions League of Weird, you have the Serial Killing podcast, you have the Weekly Extra podcast, you have the Dog Walks with Davey podcast. You get early access to that weekly podcast with no ads, and you get early access to tickets for live shows that I'm doing. So the Patreon's where it's at. If you want to join that community, head on over to www.patreon.com/Sly Guy podcast. Get over there now and join the team. The Sly Guy podcast is brought to you in association with Pugs Comedy Club. Pugs Comedy Club is the longest running Thursday night comedy club in Belfast, and it is the place to be. The comedy club will be back on Thursday the 27th of October with a lineup that includes myself, Sean Hegarty, Rory Woods, and more guests to be confirmed. So what are you waiting for? Head on to the Eventbrite link below, get your tickets, get them reserved now, and guarantee yourself a great night of comedy. And why let the comedy be the be-all and end-all of your night? Why not head to Pug Uglies beforehand? Get yourself a little bit of dinner, get their famous buffalo wrap, some sweet potato fries, and a pint. Or maybe some drinks supplied by Crack and Rum, the sponsors of Pugs Comedy Club. Head on down, check out Pugs Grub. It's 10 out of 10. And why just get it during the week? Why not get a Sunday roast delivered to your door? Whoa, mind blown. Not only do they have the best roast in town, they'll deliver it to your front door. What's better than that? If you haven't already, check out Pug Uglies at puguglies.com or follow them on all social media for more details. Links to the comedy club, links to the roast. Check it out, you will not regret it. Guys, the Sly Guy podcast is also brought to you in association with Manscaped. I've said it before, Manscaped are doing their bit to end paedophilia. That's it. They're trying to make adults look like kids by removing the bush, and that's all well and good. George Bush had his war on terror, and I am a terrorist with a war on Bush. And what I'm telling you to do is head to manscaped.com, use the code SLY at checkout to get 20% off and free shipping on any of the goods. If you're going to whack your bush, just get onto this Lawnmower 4.0. It's a great tool for just removing pubic hair without snagging your ball bag. Because this is it. You want your dick to look a little bit longer, but you don't want to sacrifice your ball bag in the process. So use the Lawnmower 4.0 as well. Then once you've got it shaved up and washed and looking really fresh, why not add some of this pretty sweet ball deodorant as well? Joking aside, this does smell incredible. It smells actually way nicer than their actual fragrance did, which smells kind of gross. But the actual ball deodorant is good, and the ball toner has the same scent as that. I don't know what it does. My ball bag still looks like a melted old man with Bell's palsy, but it's a shave, melted old man with Bell's palsy. So if you want some discount, head on to manscaped.com, use the code SLY at checkout for 20% off and free shipping. Adieu. Sly Guy podcast is always going to be brought to you by Modest Beer until they stop sponsoring the podcast, which is entirely up to them. It's their prerogative. But as it stands, they've been here from day one, and I love Modest Beer. If you want to know more about Modest Beer, check out their website, www.modestbeer.co.uk. You can find out all the different beers that they have, where to purchase the beers. They've got merch over there. You can get a t-shirt, you can get a cap, so you can doff it to people whenever you drink Modest and realise how delicious it is. You'll be like, oh, you drink a Modest beer? Yes, have a good day, sir. It's all good. Check them out on social media as well. On Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the handle at Modest Beer. They're modest, I'm not. Enjoy the podcast.
I'm the Sly Guy.
Guys, we have a guest episode of the podcast this week. And my guest this week is one of the up-and-coming young comedians on the scene. A man who I've gigged with a good few times now. I'm starting to get to know him the more I hang out with him. And he's a guy I'm very fond of. I like the way he's doing it. I like the way he's approaching stand-up. I like the way he's enjoying stand-up. And I like the way he came to do the podcast with me. And I'm looking forward to letting you guys hear it. Guys, hopefully you enjoy the episode as much as I did doing it. If you didn't, hey, nobody died. Unless, of course, someone did die as a direct response to watching this podcast, in which case I feel terrible. But until I'm told that, I feel pretty good. So guys, settle yourselves in, grab a cup of tea, get a coffee, get a bun, get a tray bake, eat some granola, I don't care, do whatever you want, put your feet up, and enjoy this episode of the Sly Guy podcast with my guest, Pete Giffen. Pete, welcome to the podcast. How you doing, sir?
Thanks for having me.
Listen, pleasure to have you down in the studio. I'm just, again, everyone who listens knows I'm shit at recording, so I'm just checking that I'm in shot.
Everything looks good.
There. Yeah,
Two
I think we
handsome
look
men.
great. Two men that you wouldn't want to be knocking on your door of an evening. You know, threatening looking guys.
But are you... I would sort of get the impression that you're maybe not as threatening as what you would maybe perceive by the look of you.
You know what? I look scarier than I am, I think. I think
I'm
that's a
the
case that I've got a lot. I think the amount of times over the years people have gone, oh no, he's a scary, angry guy, and that's my face.
Lovable.
I am lovable, but people don't think that. See, when people, like, if they're asking a gig or something, they're like, oh no, this guy's going out. I'm like, just probably give you a spot when I have a space. That's
I think
about
since I
it.
started stand-up, a few of the sort of people like I became mates with through stand-up, they're like, oh fuck, you might be a bit handy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my real mates are
Yeah.
like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Fuck if they couldn't
'cause
bother anything.
that's the thing. Like, I think the comedy scene is full of wimps, really. You know, I think that's it. And when you look a certain way, people are like, oh no.
Well, it sort of attracts
You know?
wimps in a way, the sort
Yeah.
of the artsy type.
I know, because that's it. Like, a
Expressing
lot
themselves.
of people are like, there's probably nobody I would say is hard. There's no comedian I go, oh, locally, they're hard.
That's why I'm buzzing to watch
You know?
this comedians box.
I know, like, that's it. I'm not doing it. I'm just saying I'm not doing it. You
Yeah.
know? Like, so a lot of people are like, let's do it. But the thing about it is, right, here's the thing. Why I don't want to do it. I don't want to get punched in the face. And, you know what I mean? But, like, at the end of the day, look at this. I don't have a lot going for me.
That's your moneymaker.
You know what I mean? This is it.
That goes.
My teeth are made of, like, fucking, I don't know, sand. Like, they're brittle. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I've had a tooth out because I used to play rugby without wearing a gum shield, and I cracked my teeth.
Right,
Just,
okay.
and I had a tooth out, so
Like
I
biting
can't.
down on it?
Yeah, just running into people in my head, and I'm going, shut, and just crack the teeth. You know,
That explains a lot.
you know that's that's fair, but yeah, I just don't like the thought of it, and I just don't know what the benefit of it would be. Do you know
Well,
what I mean?
for me, my level, I was like, if they ever asked me what's the happen,
Yeah.
I would go, I'm prepared to be sparked out for clout.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But then people might be like, oh, it's a guy that got mugged, like, and you mightn't like that either. You know, you might be like, fuck, I can never show my face again. And here's the thing, like, Connor Keys used to box.
Yes, so
So if I went into Box Keysy, I'm a big boxing fan. You know, I love boxing. Watched the fights there at the weekend, which were great entertainment. I love boxing. I know what goes into boxing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know that
and
if
you're
you...
not prepared to do
No,
it.
I'm not ready to fucking fight a guy who's trained how to hit someone in the face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I go in, yes, I'm obviously the strongest man in the world.
Absolutely.
But I'm not... I know no technique, and technique beats power every day of the week. Casey would fucking school me.
Yeah.
You know?
I'd almost do it as like just an excuse to actually go to the gym.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
But if there's the threat of being embarrassed and smacked
Yeah.
in the face by
Yeah.
Connor Burns, I might go for a jog at
Well, that's
6 in the morning.
that's good. I mean, I'll never jog, but I'll go on my exercise bike.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing I'm sort of doing now. So I'm trying to lose a wee bit of weight at the minute, and I'm like, right,
Yeah.
the head's tuned in, and I need to stick to it. Like, and it's
I've got an exercise bike in the living room, but it's a coat rack.
right. Okay.
So things just get hung on it.
Yeah.
As opposed to maybe if like a wee pre-drink, people just tend to sit on it.
Nice.
It's not really being used for. There's a
Well,
lot of
it
dust
is.
on it, put it that
Yeah.
way.
No, I get you. Mine's in the garage, and I only bought it during lockdown actually. And to be fair, I've got a bit of use out of it.
Okay,
But then that was before I had the dog, so now I kind of just walk him, and I'm like, well, that's sort of
but that's almost
you know.
it's a bit wholesome as well.
yeah,
You're more likely to do something like that
yeah.
than
But
just sweat in your garage.
But I have a trainer, John Joe, friend of the show, listens every week and makes notes about what I say. And he's like, "Oh, you're talking about you went. How many nights were you out last week? What did you eat? And it's like, you looked fatter last week. You were very bloated. You're red, blood." And I
Is that why
shut
you
up.
asked about that six pack of McCoys in the ground before?
Yes,
we
just
started
leave that.
recording?
That's why get it away from the
Yeah.
shot because he'll fucking. He probably
You do
can
have a bit of crumbs still there.
Oh no, a bit of what? It's like, oh, it's true what they say. But he said to me, like, it's not good enough to just tell me you want to lose weight. You need a goal or something to do. And I was like, okay. And he was like, well, this is what I mean is have something like quantifiable. So for example, if you were boxing, that would be something.
Yeah.
I want to work toward a fight. But I was like, I don't know what I really want to do other than like some sort of combine, like whether it's like sit-ups or pull-ups or something. But
Yeah, is yours just vague? I want to lose weight.
yeah, and it's like, well, that's not good enough. It's like, well, I do just want to lose weight to live longer. That's
Yeah.
it's not about looking a good way now. I just want to, give my girls down the aisle eventually. That's
We're getting very emotional.
I know, it's like, what? But he was like, right, you need something. And I thought, right, what I'll do is I need to get back on my exercise bike because there's pros and cons to that. The pros are I have to leave my kids and my wife to go into my garage
Okay.
for peace. So I just get the zone out for a while. So I thought if I worked out half an hour a day on the bike equals between now and Christmas 17 and a half hours worth of
Just
of
exercising
riding.
purely.
Yeah, so
of
I
riding.
just want to be riding for.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what, push one. We'll go 18 hours. So I want to ride for 18 hours.
And that's the thing, when
Between
you're on
now
those
and Christmas.
exercise bikes as well, you
Yeah.
often get a sore ass.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, when I ride, always, because I get
Yeah.
pegged
Yeah.
primarily. So it's a lot of fun. But yeah, that's my plan now. So I'm gonna want to finish this with a bit more admin-y shit to do, and then I'm gonna go home, get my bike, walk my dog, and get my bike, and that's my plan for the day.
What I did when I was actually properly into it, when I was still living with mum and dad's, we had it like in the office,
Uh-huh.
and I'd set the laptop up, have BT Sport on,
Uh-huh.
and for some reason it was always Bundesliga.
Yeah.
Like the time of the day I done it,
Uh-huh.
like big Werder Bremen
Yeah.
fan now. And I would like put like a wee post-it over the time,
Uh-huh.
because I felt if you seen the time,
Yes.
fuck,
It goes
we've been
slow,
doing
doesn't
this
it?
2
Yeah.
minutes. If you cover it up, and then it's all right,
Yeah.
and going to half time,
Yeah.
and you've no perception of really when
Yeah.
half time is.
See, that's a good shout, because I would have done it with a towel. I'd have put the towel over the what I was seeing on my thing, you know, and that would have made me like listen to, like, if I listen to like 5 songs here or something,
Aye,
by the
yeah.
time that's done,
4 minutes a song, that's
Yeah.
about 20 minutes then, yeah.
it's perfect. But otherwise, if you're looking at time, you're like, I've been here for 7 hours and it's only telling me it's been 6
Yeah.
minutes, and you're like, what the fuck?
Do you know what that is? Well, for me anyway, that's working in a call centre.
Mm-hmm.
See, to this day now, my work laptop, the
Yeah.
time's covered, and people are like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
It's like, when you work in call centres, you can't see the time during the day.
No, I
You
just
have to cover it up, or else you're just...
yeah. And with that job, do you ever get away much from the desk, or like when
A
you
call
go?
centre?
Yeah.
You do, but everything is timed.
Yeah.
Like, to the second, where it's like,
Yeah.
why do you have a shit 16 seconds longer than what you're allowed
Yeah.
to? And you're like, because I'm human.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, like...
I actually had an argument with a manager once about that exact thing, that I went
Yeah.
away and said, you were clocked out for 14 minutes, and I was like, yeah, I was clogged up for 2 days, so what I mean, what the fuck do you want me to do? And it's a weird conversation when you're having with an older woman. You're like, I'm doing a shit, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like, what else
What do you want me to do about this? Do you want me to lie?
Yeah, just come in with my chicken jocks full
Yeah.
of shit. There you go, do me to shit in front of you. Like, I think that's the level.
It's an
you need to
insane
get to.
workplace.
Yeah.
Call centre. It just, everyone there is mental, which breeds more mental people.
Yeah.
Like, we had a guy, like, it was famous, the one we worked in Ishtag in sort of Craigavon, that like anyone could get a job there.
Yeah.
Literally anyone. Like, you done the interview and you're in the car park and they
Uh-huh.
rang you and said you've got the job.
Yeah.
That's your first red flag that maybe this isn't
Yeah.
the career path that you want to be going
Uh-huh.
for. But this guy went in and he came out and they were like, oh, did you get it?
Yeah.
He's all, got a maybe. And they're all,
Uh-huh.
fuck, first guy ever to get a maybe. And he was
Yeah.
all, have to wait till the court date comes up, you know. Like, but like they said,
Yeah.
if I don't get charged, I've got
Yeah.
the job. And you're
Happy
going,
days, yeah.
okay, right. That's the bar that we're going
But
for
like,
here.
I think they're sort of, those sort of jobs are a bit like casinos. It's not like a real
Oh,
world. Artificial light, you're just stuck in there.
Yeah.
You just hear to the ticking of clocks, and your just mind goes, same mundane calls every second of every day. It's like, oh my God.
It's nuts.
Not sweet, you know.
But I think it would be class for like a sitcom.
The call centre?
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, is there one like that?
There was the do you remember the sort of like the reality TV show? And it was
Yes,
based in the
and-
call centre, and
yes.
the boss was like a David Brent sort
Yes,
of guy.
yes, I do remember
That
that.
was fantastic. I'd love to get the clips of that back up.
Oh well, I mean I think that see stuff like that, old shows like that would do well on TikTok now. You know,
Yeah.
if they pulled them, if they dredged them back and redid them.
Airline, that's
Yeah.
big on TikTok now.
Right. Okay. So then that it would be.
Just people being fuming.
Yeah, but that's what people love. People
That's what they love, like.
people just being fucking full time raging and like on nothing more. Like I feel sorry for certain call center workers. Like, see when you were working, did you take calls or did you have to do the outreach
So
calls?
I was taking them. So at least it wasn't
Okay.
like ringing and annoying people.
Yeah, and you'd be like, "Hello, this is Mister."
Yeah.
It's like, and then you probably have to quantify that too, and like how many calls? Like, well, I got hung up
Yeah.
on every single one. What do you want me to do? Like, you could see someone losing their mind doing that.
I'd rather do that than do the door to door. I couldn't
Yeah.
do that.
I thought you were just going a big swerve there. I'd rather do that than work a door. It's like, just I'd rather do that than be a bouncer. You know, and no disrespect to bouncers.
I don't know if I could be a bouncer. And Joe would put me off being a bouncer.
Uh-huh.
I'd be very cold.
Yeah, it would be a cool
Which
job.
probably gives you a lot more.
But you know what too? I think as well, I think if I was a bouncer, people would think, oh, he's a big lad, he can take it. And then I just get dog loads, and I'd be like, I just don't want to get smacked in the face.
Yeah.
And
Goes
you have
back to the boxing thing.
Yeah, you just have to be like, you know, you just have to take it. And it's always the wee ones who like know all the moves.
Wee scrappers.
You know, the wee fucking dirty wee bastards break your fingers and all.
Did you ever see that clip? It was maybe only about a month ago or so. It was like some club in London. And there was a wee scrapper guy. He's
Yeah.
trying to get in. And the guy pushes him back,
Yeah.
and then he just sparks him, and it comes out
Yeah.
former
He was-
like heavyweight
yeah,
guy.
That was great. But you love to see that too. You, know
You
what I
do?
mean?
It's
It's like, you know
class.
what, listen, if you're a piece of, like, because this is the thing, I was thinking about this the other day. You know the old saying that people have, they've made into like a big PR thing now. It's hashtag be kind.
Yeah.
I think there's a problem with that hashtag. I think they need to rework it a bit.
Be kind to an extent.
Yeah, but it be sound.
Be
I think that's
sound,
more
yeah.
because you can be kind, but be a patronising bastard. You know what I mean? So you could just, if you just be sound,
Yeah.
that sort of encompasses it. But like, see when you see
That's the
people,
10 Commandments.
Exactly.
Just summarising the one. Be sound.
just be sound and don't
Wise up.
don't covet your neighbour's oxen, whatever the fuck you do. I mean, what's the modern day? Just bird, is that it? Like,
Bird?
Don't shag the next
Bird's
door's
probably a wee
missus.
bit. You probably that's a wee bit sort of me too. You probably get people complaining about bird now.
Yeah.
Significant other.
Significant. Yes, but you can't even call wife, or you have to have
Yeah.
just person of interest, is it?
Yeah, it was like we were watching the match yesterday and it came up player of the match.
Uh-huh.
And I got like man of the match, woman of the match. It
Yeah.
was a men's football.
Yeah, I
Everyone
know.
there is a man. Like,
Yeah, I do think sometimes that kind of shit annoys me. Sometimes you're like, guys, take a day off.
be sound.
You know what I mean?
There's a happy medium, isn't
Be
it?
sound, like take a day off, that
Yeah.
sort of shit. You know what I mean? It's like I don't know what it's like because obviously with yourself you're new to the comedy scene.
Yeah.
And you're sort of coming in at a time post all the kind of Me Too stuff. And
Yeah.
and do you feel the pressure of what you can say and you can't say? Because I think maybe
Yeah.
with me, I've maybe found it as being an older guy that I'm used to being maybe allowed to say stuff.
Mhm.
And then I was like, I went the full opposite way of going, I'm still saying it. If it's not offensive, I'll still say it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But do you find there's some bits you're like, oh no, I can't say that? Or
I love how people probably don't know who I am. We're looking at us
Yeah.
going like, well, these two people aren't the same age.
Yeah.
Which
I know.
there actually is a bit of an
I'm
age
actually,
gap.
what age are you?
26.
I'm literally a whole 10 years older than you. I could be in some, like you're Lurgan, aren't you?
Lurgan,
I could
aye.
literally be your dad.
Yeah.
I could be your dad in those parts of the world.
Well, Davina Kamal
Yeah.
made me come here today to like reunite with you. So.
There you go. Oh no, is she about?
Yeah.
I mean, she'd be a great guest. She can stay for the Patreon episode after. But
In terms of like the sort of like the offensive
Yeah.
stuff, thankfully I'm not someone who's very quote unquote edgy or
Yeah.
like I don't really like to toe those lines naturally anyway. Like I don't know. Like say we were doing a gig in Newry the other night, and it was like the first time I was like, flip, everyone here is like 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
It was a real old audience.
Yeah.
But for like someone who's actually relatively young, I was like, this actually plays in my hand a wee bit because
Yeah.
I'm not very
Yeah.
sort of like edgy or like on the line. But I think some people, the younger ones, maybe do.
yeah,
But I think some people as well, the younger ones, they maybe try and be a bit too edgy.
yeah.
So they don't really have the maybe
what-
skill to do it.
What I've learnt, I think, with age is that you just talk about what I think you know about. I
Yeah.
think that's the thing. I find when people want to talk, because I'm certainly more, like this is maybe why, like I like you as new act. I'm seeing new acts come through. Like I like
Yeah.
yourself. I like Kieran and Sean and the new acts. Like I've seen you gig, and you seem like you just talk about stuff that happens
Because
in
if you
life or
force it and try
experience.
to talk about something that's
Yeah.
not an experience, people
Yeah.
smell that out.
And then I also think too, like if I'm seeing someone, for example, where I am in my life right now, like with kids and being married and sort of over the hill. I'm
Yeah.
over the hill.
You're
I'm
past
settled.
it.
I'm past it. I'm
Yeah.
done. I don't know. Sometimes I see people do bits about like stuff that I just don't relate to anymore, and like the word dopamine always pops up and it's like, and then dopamine. It's like, shut up.
Yeah.
That doesn't interest me. It's not the bad comedy, just not my interest. And I think the good thing to do is if you try to hit it's tailored just for an audience, one particular, you sort of narrow yourself down a bit. Whereas I think you guys are quite, appealing to all. Like again, I would always think like if I'm writing a show and I'm complaining about my wife, I want to do it in a way where husbands will be like, fuck, my wife's like that. And then if the wives are there, they'll be like, shit, my husband's an ignorant bastard like you.
Yeah.
Or like my parents will be like, oh, his son like that. Or you know what I mean? So it can kind of...
I was trying to find out
that way.
a unique way of doing that thing because probably family, wife is probably the most
common thing.
common
That's it
material
too, isn't
because the
it?
most
Yeah.
common comedians are
Yeah.
middle-aged men.
Yeah, and that's
who
the
have
thing.
wives and kids.
It's like you notice it too, and it's the stuff like I think the first bit I ever wrote was a bit about going to the doctor. Like the first bit that actually I thought there's a beginning, middle, of an end to that bit.
Yeah.
And then I think from then I was like, all right, I know what I want to talk about. And like obviously I find for bits that I do, like something will happen that'll give me like a strand.
Okay.
And I'll be like, there's a strand of truth in that. Let's just
embellish it.
pull it and see where it leads, add bits in,
Yeah.
embellish it, pump it up a bit and make it more into a bit. But that's, to me, the majority of bits happen to an extent, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that's what gets you kind of...
When you're sort of talking about sort of like the difference in the sort of generations and
Yeah.
maybe things you can't say, Fraser Robb, don't know if he's ever done, he had a class idea for
Yeah.
a podcast where it was like I'm an
Yes.
old guy,
Yeah.
and he was going to get young people on,
Uh-huh.
and every episode it would be a young person explaining to
Yeah.
an old guy a modern concept.
Yeah.
So it'd be like, explain to me what
Yeah.
XYZ is.
Because actually,
Oh, that was brilliant.
I had
idea.
said something to that once about Aaron McCann before, because he was talking to me about some stuff, and I was going, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, like these rappers that were like, you know, like the keys on a computer that are like down the bottom right hand corner, you know, it's like fucking hashtag comma is this song about, and I was like, was I me? You
Yeah.
know? And then he was like, what age are you? And I was like,
And there's probably only he's like 28 or
yeah,
something.
like
maybe
he's
8 years
exactly.
between us.
But it's like, I think that's the thing, and I think like in my experience locally anyway, I think the scene at the minute's in a good nick. You know,
Apparently,
I think
I have nothing to compare it to,
Yeah.
so that's what I've heard.
but that's it. Like, and again for you, I kind of bizarrely enough knew of you before you did comedy, because
Right.
you would have been someone who, you know, whenever you do podcasts, you
Mhm.
recognize people like maybe asking questions
Yeah.
and things.
Okay.
I remember you'd have asked Boytown questions
Yes.
back in the day.
Yeah.
I remember initially being like, that's some hair.
Yeah.
And that was my first thing. That's a wild hair. Like, what does
So
that?
you were aware of that haircut
Yeah.
then, yeah?
And I remember one day you said something mean, and I was like, "That for him, I'll never be.
Yeah.
I'll never forgive him." And now here we are.
Do you know what? And I've
Moving
done
forward.
that before,
Yeah.
quite recently. Commented on like a
Yeah.
podcast, so like I'm actually quite friendly with
Yeah.
the guys now. But was like, no, this is a fucking disgrace.
Yeah,
I was
and
like,
you're like,
I'm a wee hater. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing?
but
That's
that's
nuts. I
it.
didn't know you remembered
Yeah,
stuff like
but
that.
no, because it's like, and again, it's I'm sure you know people who ask questions. You'll see them, and you'll be like, and a lot of the times, good, like regular question. And again, I think for the most part, I don't know, maybe you said like, and again, Boytown Rants course. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I think you were like same old stuff, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay, and I went, okay, that hurts, but he's right, but.
I fully believe that was
You
something
know?
I would say. Like.
Yeah, and it's like, okay. And now, like, this is what I like, though. You're doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So fair play. Because
Yeah.
some people be fucking narky, and then just be like, you know. But now, you know. And again, I actually put a spell on you that hair that you had would fall out.
Yeah.
And, you know, here we are.
Well, it was a
Years
wig.
later. A wig? Fucking God,
People genuinely did think
Yeah.
it was a wig.
And was that your actual genuine hair?
Yeah.
Right. And what was the
I
process?
don't know if you want to slide a photo in there.
I
Andrew.
don't know. I might have to. I might say, Ben, get me one.
I'll
up
send
there.
you photos.
But
of
it
it,
was like, well, how did you do that? Like, what was the process behind that hair? Because I never had hair. I just dyed my hair once.
I bleached
And,
mine
like-
like because it was like bright blonde, and then at one stage it was blue. It was like bubblegum blue, which was just amazing. Like,
Yeah.
because I was like a wee sort of emo scene kid.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I love
Fucking
that. I love
hate
that.
my mom.
Yeah. Are you going to Blink 182, by the way? No.
I just sort of feel like that's done.
Yeah.
I would like to though.
Yeah.
I would like to.
Were you a fan of theirs back in the day, or were they still a bit sort of?
They were probably a wee bit before me, but I do
Yeah.
like Blink 182.
Yeah. No, we were trying to get tickets this morning, but I knew we weren't going to get any.
Yeah.
I knew it. I would have fancied it, but also I knew it wasn't going to happen.
I seen like a tour, not a tour poster, like a festival poster called "When We Were Young," and
Right,
it's
okay.
all them bands. Like,
And where are they
Blink-
playing?
It's in America, but it's literally every single pop punk like emo band. I was like, that would be
See,
amazing. Like,
I would love to see that. Like, because that's the thing. I don't really talk much about what music I'm into. You
Yeah.
know, it's normally just me giving off with shit.
I
But,
wouldn't
like,
have a clue.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have it if I had someone
Yeah.
could guess what you're into.
No,
I wouldn't know.
I like. See, the thing about it is, I like pop music. I just do because it's on the radio. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've always been like, I don't know why I hate it. It's just not for me. But I'm a big rock music fan.
Yeah, same.
And hip hop. I was up until a
Right,
point. You know,
okay.
I liked the West Coast hip hop back in the day. But then obviously,
Just off Galway. Yeah.
you know, exactly, just the Galway guys in Donegal, massive. But it was that, and then it's. I just think it gets weird when you get to a point where you're really into something. Do you ever
Uh-huh.
get that? Like, you like any music, but if you're really into it and it becomes who you are as a
part of
person,
you.
it's weird. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's I only listen to Tupac. I wouldn't fucking
It's like
listen
the
to.
fucking guys now. Daz.
Yeah.
With a Liam Gallagher and all.
Yeah, I mean, you know what?
Committing to the sideburns 365 days a year.
The mod haircut is something that sometimes people need to look at things and go, that just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing to do. Like, it's the Paul Weller of just that.
Yeah.
And then, like, it's I just don't know. It just looks weird.
It's what
You know what I mean?
Because the guys are all in their 50s now.
Yeah.
So the hairline's going.
Yeah.
It's still coming down.
They still do that, and
Yeah.
I don't know what the origin of that is. Was that haircut to be done because obviously it's associated with like the fucking like the scooter movement and all that,
Yeah.
and is that so as you can just pop a helmet on your head and you
Not
can
the
just take it
German
off?
dance guys. Scooter.
Yeah, no, not scooter because they just look like
Good morning.
you know, just middle-aged women from council estate. But like, I would say that like I just don't understand them all because processes go through hairstyles, right? Now I am a guy who admittedly I've never been a big hair dude, right?
Okay.
I've just, what is here is here, and I was going to shave it off. I was going to go to the core with it before I got married.
What's the core?
Like just to the
Oh,
core,
like right
to
down
the wood,
to, like-
just
like-
down to the wood, yeah.
Down to the skin, or still a wee stubble?
I would say, like, are you totally down? Or do
Yeah,
you-
because I this is actually this is going to
Yeah.
sound, this is as long as my hair
Yeah.
ever is. I
Yeah.
shave my head like every
Right.
3 days,
See-
like wet shave it.
See, I would probably go to a one all over, I reckon.
Yeah.
Just but then my wife was like, keep it for the hair, keep the hair for the wedding photos. And I was like, oh, okay.
Which is a lovely thing for your wife to say.
Yeah, but
don't
see-
be stinking on her
No,
wedding
just
day.
don't be
Do
revolting.
it after.
I know, just try to lose weight. And
I
just
wanna
change your
remember you being
face,
a
you know, it's like, please. But then after that point, I went, okay, we're holding this on
Yeah.
until it goes.
Can I say
This is it,
something?
yeah.
Honestly, you're holding it together very well.
Thank you, appreciate it. It's going at the back. You know, it was like
But I think
Arsenal a few
as
seasons
well
ago.
as that could be held together, it's being held together.
Thank you. No, see, my barber tells me that, but then I think he just wants the custom. You know, he's at me. You know,
Think so?
Yeah, because the Turkish. I went to him one day, and he's actually an Iraqi guy, and he owns a barbershop called the Turkey Istanbul Barbershop.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, whereabouts in Turkey? From Istanbul? Nah, mate, I'm from Iraq. It's like,
Yeah.
sweet. But I went
We're
to
down.
him, and he was like, he was doing the work. Now, this is, I don't know if I've said this on a public podcast. I think I spoke about it on Patreon, but I went in. I said to my barber, I need an appointment. Now, usually what I do, I say to him, and within a couple of days, he'll be like, I'll squeeze you in here.
Mm-hmm.
Right, he's like, I'm on holidays for 2 weeks, and I had a gig coming up that it's like, I need to look tidy for.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, I need to get the hair done here, because I'm doing a gig, then I'm going on holidays for 2 weeks, I need a cut.
You look fly.
So I was bringing Holly down to school one day, and I just noticed the Turkey Istanbul barbershop was open. This is like, I think, and why I remember the precise time was because of the time it took, right? Looked at the clock, 8:58, and he was open. I was like, I could jump in here, get a haircut, and still get her to school on time. So I was
Right.
thinking, like, she needed to be in school by 9:30 at the time. Easy. Went in, nobody's there. He's just standing there like this, holding the fucking. Now, he wasn't holding the Manscaped lawnmower 4.0 because, you know, it'd be weird. He's like, do you want the pubes? But I went in and he was like, what do you want? I was like, well, fucking obviously haircut.
Haircut, you cunt.
And he was like, well, what do you get done? And I was like, just get shorter. And he goes, sides. And I went, like, 1 or whatever. And he goes, sweet. Sat me down, just boom, 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 boom. 3 minutes past 9. Done. Right?
Right, okay.
And I looked at the car. So I parked the car, 8:58, done at 3 minutes past 9, right? So to bring Holly and sit around, he's done. Now, normally my barber, we're at the stage where we know what's going on at the back.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to whip out the
Yeah.
mirror. I know what's going on. Istanbul, the Iraqi Istanbul barbershop owner, he gets the thing out and just goes, aye. Like that at the back, he just goes, "Ee." And he was like, all right, mate, don't fucking do that.
And that's why you joined the BNP, wasn't it?
And that's right. You know what? This is it. We need to bring right-wing politics back to the forefront of Northern Ireland. But he just said, and I just thought, yeah, that's honest.
Yeah.
You know, and I respected that. And he is my number 2 barber now. If my barber's on holidays, I'll always go back to
Yeah.
him.
He's your side piece.
Yeah, he's my side piece. He's and I appreciated the honesty from him, but just
I
he's
like
looking
that.
around, it's like, son of
I've been during lockdown. I was a designated family barber
a-" right, okay.
because I was the only guy who had like an electric razor.
Right, and did you hone any skills? Like, did you watch any YouTube tutorials?
No,
or
it was
anything?
just going for it. And do you know what? It was half decent.
Yeah.
Cut my dad's, my granddad's. My granddad's got like such an amazing head of hair.
Yeah.
He's like 79. You bastard.
You should have just fucking gone.
Yeah.
Take him out. Oops.
But my dad yesterday was all, I have to go back to the lockdown haircuts. And he was
Yeah.
all away. He's all, 11 quid.
Yeah.
11 quid. I was all like, where do you live? I think that's normal.
11 quid. But see, when you're used to having a price for so long, you're like, not having it.
He's all, I'm not paying it. I was all, how often do you get your hair cut? I'm not paying it. I was all, how often do you get a cut? Like once a month?
Yeah.
You can pay it 11 quid. Like,
And is this his like long-term barber?
yeah. But it's a shit one as well. It's not
Yeah.
even a proper Turkey, Istanbul.
Like
banter.
I reckon, I think I might have, like, you know, proper barbers maybe had Colin to start off in Hollywood. He cut my hair from when I was a kid.
Okay.
And then I moved on to Gary in Hollywood.
Yeah.
He cut my hair for a bit. Then I got my hair cut from Colin and Gary right through, I think, until, you know, I was maybe fucking 8, until I moved to Belfast.
Yeah.
And then when I moved up to Belfast, I got my hair done by Jason Shanky for a bit.
Snipper shanky?
Yeah, Snipper Shanky, but it was never him himself. It was
Back in the Boytown
It was
days?
back in the Boytown days.
You still haven't changed?
No, but
You're still talking about it?
But I'd left Snipper Shanky before I started slandering him on the podcast. So then I went to Skinny Isaacs, and then after Skinny Isaacs, I've just been in Harmony and Bangor. Like, I think so. That's what
You settled now?
5 years. I'm settled. You know what I mean? But I've always been settled. I've been loyal to my barbers. It just so
You sound like a
happened.
journeyman centre back. Who
I know.
plays like the lower legs.
That's it. But I feel loyal to them from as a kid.
Kids
you know?
are in school now. I don't want to move the family.
And it's like, nah. But the good thing is, because I have girls,
Yeah.
it's not my responsibility
To
to
do
bring
their
them
hair?
to the barbers. So my wife, she takes them to the hairdressers, because it wouldn't be sweet that me taking the Turkey Istanbul barbers just to sort them out.
The guys is
that's
all,
all right.
"Hey."
Yeah, he's like, but yeah, I think that's one thing you shouldn't do is cheating your barber. And whenever like I had to leave my barbers, I would go to them and be like, listen, has to be now. What
It's not
actually
you, it's
happened?
me.
No, but with Snipper Shanky's situation, my barber there, he left and he went to pursue another career as an artist. He's a painter, and I mean, to be fair, the masterpieces he did to my hair, it's easy to see
Yeah,
why.
You could see why.
He
Transferable
went,
skills.
and then, but what happened there? He moved, and then the guy stepped in to cut my hair, Becky. He then went and opened his own barbers,
Right.
Skinny Isaac. So I followed him. So
Okay.
I left the Snipper and went to him
Yeah.
out of loyalty, and then I moved to Bangor.
So
you know,
like Jermaine Defoe with Harry Redknapp, just wherever he goes, you'll
exactly,
follow.
100%. That's exactly it. And it was a nice time. And then now I'm with Mikey in Bangor, and unless Mikey leaves, I can't see me.
And he settled? You okay?
I'm settled.
Okay,
I love Mikey. I
that's
think
good.
Mikey is. I don't know, how would you describe it in football? I like that football analogy there. I'm trying to
I
think.
love explaining things in football
Yeah,
terms.
I think that's the best way to do it. But I'm trying to think of a player who, you know what, I'll say Mo Salah. That's how I feel.
Big praise.
Because Mo Salah, right? He never really found his home. He went about and he
Yeah.
was happy in places.
Yeah.
You know, he did all right. Chelsea never really settled. He did all right at Roma.
Mm-hmm.
But then he really found his home later in his career at Liverpool.
Yeah.
That's how I feel like. I really feel like I found my home with Mikey. He's my one.
That's good.
You know, and like when I look back on my career, he'll be the one I'm most proud of. You
Yeah.
know.
I remember like when I had the mad hair, like
Yeah.
to get it bleached, this was like, I don't know, it's going to sound like 2014 back in the day.
Yeah.
But like there wasn't, like men's barbers are a much like more elaborate thing now. You
Yes.
get booked in and it's
Yeah.
time slots. Back then it was just going in
Yeah.
3 back and side. So I had to go to like my mum and sister's hairdressers, which is like in Shankill and Lurgan,
Yeah.
which is pure like, you know, like a hairdresser's on the side of a corner shop.
Yes.
You know, that sort of
Yes.
vibe, council estate. And I used to go in there, 18 years of age,
Yeah.
with all the wee grannies, with
Yeah.
my wee cap on, the wee hangle,
Yeah.
just sitting there. And you find yourself like turning quite camp, just
Yeah.
sitting there with like,
Yeah.
don't we got there?
Yeah.
2 teas, 2 sugars, please. You're just like, what the fuck am I doing?
There's no audience or vibe I love more than old women. They're
Oh,
fucking great
slabbers.
crack. They love it. You know, like I remember some of the community groups I would hang out with. They were great. I used to love to go around to them when they had their wee women's meeting. You just go in and have a cup of tea and a biscuit, get all the
Yeah.
scandal, and it was great.
I remember one time though,
It's
like
class.
a fella I went to school with came in,
Uh-huh.
and I'm sitting there, I'm all, I just,
But you know, the only saving grace is he must have known you did something. Because obviously he would have had that elaborate headpiece.
Yeah.
He must have. He's not done that in his bedroom. You know
my
what I mean?
argument was, you're here too.
Yeah. I know that's always a weird, isn't it? And always like a weird vibe is when someone's like, "Oh, I caught you," and it's like,
You're here too.
"Yeah," like, and you're in a bathhouse.
You're in this car park as well.
There we go. You know what's going on here? Well, you're about to wash me off, so you know. It is what it is. It's like, well, it's not telling anyone. Yeah. And what did he get done? Just sweet perm.
I think it was probably frosted tips,
Yes.
which was a big thing.
See, did you get the condom on the head? You
Yeah.
know, when the hair pulled through?
I was very sore, I found, getting it pulled
Yeah.
through.
See, I think stuff like that is maybe contributes to losing the hair because the rubber in the head's not a good move. Like
It wasn't even rubber, it was the metal thing that go like that.
the way, like it's like a wee hooked
Yeah.
fucking.
Looks like a tent peg.
Yeah.
Like a wee small tent
Yeah,
peg.
it's not nice.
Yeah.
Nah, that's not.
Was
fun.
character building that?
Yeah, absolutely. But like I got the foil done for a while because
Yeah,
when
I
I
had
got
foil.
that's another thing. When I got elaborate, I got dyed twice, and I went to Peter Mark down beside where Revolution to Cuba is now. And
Okay.
that's where I
Is
went.
that
to get
high
colour
end,
put
is
in.
it?
Yeah, that's where I went to get the dye in. You know, no, I wanted to at the time have hair like Charlie Simpson from Busted. I was
Yeah.
like, I like that cut.
Or Fight Star?
Fight Star,
if you're
yeah,
a bit more clued in.
if you're a bit more clued in, indeed. But I just went and I want that, and I just looked like Jack Black when I got
Yeah.
done. I was like, fuck. You know, people are like, you look like your man. I was like, from Jumanji. No, it's like, fuck. Don't want to look like fucking Jack Black from Tenacious D. Albeit, I love Jack Black, like he's a legend, but it wasn't what you
Were you a
want to do
Busted
when you're
fan,
18. Oh, why?
Because I was actually
was.
talking about this the first CD you ever bought.
Yeah.
Mine was McFly.
Right, okay. Room on the third floor, maybe, was it?
Girl, 5 colours in her hair.
Right, okay. Oh, that's single?
Single,
That's
2004.
that's good going.
Yeah. Went up to Woolworths, pocket money,
Yeah.
$1.99.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? Say no?
There you go, that's fair. Woolworths, what a shop.
Yeah.
The kids are missing out on that nowadays. Pick a mix and good music.
Do you know what was class about Woolworths? The tiny cans of Coke.
Oh,
Remember
100%. And also cherry Coke. You wouldn't get that anywhere else. What the why is Woolworths died? Woolworths is fucking brilliant.
Apparently there's two. There's a Woolworths and a Wellworths.
I remember
Have you heard that?
Wellworth too.
I've heard like my mum and my granny and all that.
But I think
that.
was Wellworths a local thing? I
Maybe
think
it
maybe,
was.
but Woolworths was like, because I remember going to Woolworths on my holiday, and it was like part of the
Yeah.
holiday was you get to go and pick some stuff from Woolworths. So I'd always go in, get some fizzy drinks, get a fucking pick a mix and a CD. It was
Yeah.
what a
Do you know
time.
what wrecked my head when I found out Woolworths in Australia is their like what do you call the big American thing? Walmart. That's what it is in Australia. See, if you go to Woolworths in Australia, like you get your shopping there, you can buy patio furniture and all.
I don't know if I could. I'd be disappointed actually if I went in there.
Think of the size of the pick and mix.
True, that's fair. But
I used to just steal it.
I'm a big pick. I've only started stealing actually more recently.
Right. Okay.
You know, I think that's been something I've started to get into more. Like I say, it's life hacks. You know, basically a life hack would be if you want to get something for cheaper, just don't pay for it.
Yeah.
And that's a life hack.
It does work.
You know, if you want to go into something, just instead of putting like my thieving did start with pick a mixes.
Yeah.
You know, I was there because I got to the point where I was like, I can't fit one of those big snakes into my pick a mix, and then I'm losing a lot of space because I'm a big pick a mix fan and need to have. So like, I'll just stick it in my jacket.
Yeah.
You know, the intention's there, but
And that's how all crime
exactly
syndicates start. Pick
exactly
a mix.
it's just from pick a mix.
Starts
and
with
then-
white mice, and then next thing you
because
know, it's Northern Bank.
That was part of the problem. My wife is she's particular about things.
Okay.
She'd be the sort that she'd be like,
She's a woman, what?
You know.
All right.
she doesn't like pick a mix, right? She'd be like,
Okay.
I don't, but then she likes the wee sweetie mice.
Hold on. By definition, pick and mix.
Yeah.
It's built for picky people.
Exactly,
You
but-
literally get to choose.
But
what you
then,
get.
but she'll say only like a wee white mice. So if I'm going to cinema, she'd be like, "Could you bring me a couple of white mice?" I'm like, "No, because white mice take up too much fucking space in the pick and mix.
Quite heavy.
And they're
Very heavy.
So I steal them too. So I steal stuff for her, or you know the way like discs with like the wee bits of shit. They're like, well, again, it's the white chocolate or pink
Flan
chocolate. It's the
sausage.
wee. She likes them too. So then I would just
They're
take
a
those.
bit of a rogue parent.
Yeah.
A flying saucer and a
No,
white
but
mice.
it's not a flying saucer. It's
Oh,
the
the
same.
wee
You
one
know,
with the wee-
yeah,
the wee
the wee
hundreds and thousands
yeah,
on it.
so like
Yeah,
fucking
they're brutal.
pebble dashed fucking
Yeah.
mosaic wall or something. She likes those, but they're just, if they don't have
It's
the
real
mice.
sickly, that chocolate.
Yeah,
Turns you.
and that's what she likes, and I have to pop it in my pocket.
I'm not a pick and mix guy.
No, and tell you that was the worst thing to come out of COVID was they didn't have pick and mix anymore. You had to like pre-order it.
See
You had
when you
to-
see it in Tesco's
Yeah.
now, and you're like, oh god, like the bonbons are like grey, and you're like,
Yeah.
they've been there from 2011.
I know,
Turns
and it's
me.
like that says a lot about society. I think if you see
Yeah.
a grey bonbon, you're like, that's where we are, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
a grey bomb.
Disgusting. And but one thing that again, this is why my wife doesn't like pick a mix, and I just want to defend her a bit because I think sometimes people think she is a bit weird. She doesn't drink tea, doesn't drink coffee. She's a vegetarian. She's married to me. She does weird things, right? She said she was at pick a mix one day and saw a kid, a toddler, down at the bottom shelf just lifting stuff
could
out,
see where that
sucking
was
them,
going, putting
putting
it
it
back
back
in.
in. And I said, if anything, that makes me want pick a mix more. You know? That's give me those bottom shelf babies. You know what I mean? But she was like, nah, I just don't like it. Whereas, to be fair, I do go for top shelf pick a mix now,
Top shelf.
and that's it. And that's where. But I'm again a big pick mix fan. It's mainly why I would go to cinema just to get pick mix.
I'm not a cinema guy.
You're not?
I'm not a movie guy. I'm
Oh,
that
no.
guy that's never seen all classic movies and TV
Uh-huh.
series like Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones. Never watched them.
You should do a podcast series with Aaron Butler. Where
Right.
you watch things, he's never seen anything either.
Yeah.
So it's like, what about have you ever seen what's that Titan? Nope. What happens in that? All right, mate. Well, a ship
Yeah.
sinks.
Like the opposite of Kieran Bartlett. He's
Yeah.
just like saying everything.
He's seen everything, but no, the Butler's just not. And like I don't know, is there a reason why you don't watch things like Game of Thrones the same as mine? Because I only started watching Game of Thrones because when everyone's watching it, I'm like, fuck that.
No,
And
I
I do that.
wouldn't be like that.
No?
Mine would be one, it's too long.
Yeah,
Two, if it's in any way of fantasy,
yeah.
I'm out.
You know what? My
See if a
dad's like that.
dragon can just
Yeah.
pop up.
Yeah.
Well, then that they can just pop up at any time.
But what's funny about that? My wife is game, and she was trying to sell me Game of Thrones at the outset.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, blah blah blah, and she was already into it when we met actually. So she was like, you should watch this and blah blah. And then I said, but the dragons, and she goes, no, but it makes sense because of that time. And I was like, I get what you're saying there, but in that time, still wasn't dragons.
Your wife thinks dragons are real.
Like at that, she was like, in those days you could believe it. I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
Like the same thing. I've not watched The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Don't believe that. I watched Harry Potter, and I did quite like it, but I didn't watch it at the start either because I was like, it's bullshit.
It's just once you can. It's like a get out
Too many
jail free
whites
card.
is why I don't watch Harry Potter.
Too many what?
Too many whites. It's not diverse enough. Fuck's sake, Hogwarts.
Oh no,
diverse.
God's sake. But it's as soon as you can just go, and then we're in a tight situation. How are they going to get out of this? We did a spell.
Yeah.
You can write that for anything.
Yeah, true.
It's just like a get out of jail free card.
Yeah, it's just like a giant game of Monopoly, isn't it? It's just like, now you're out of here. But
it's equivalent of just going, and run away.
But what got me into it, right? We had a big fucking leak in our house, and we had to move out because it was the toilet. So basically, a few years back, a big leak in the toilet, and it fucking went on through the kitchen all stinking, and then we had to move into somewhere to rent. So we had to rent this place in Airbnb. So we wanted to stay where we were, but it was only basically this converted upstairs barn we could live in. So it was like an open plan apartment basically. So it was me, Catherine, and Holly, who was a baby at the time, and in the space, it was during the last season of Game of Thrones. So we had basically an open plan kitchen, living room, and then you had just a bathroom, bedroom that we were in, bedroom that Holly was in. So I would be like, on a Thursday night or whatever Game of Thrones was on, I'd be like, I'll just leave you to it and not go into the bedroom. Usually watch Pornhub or whatever. And I just heard all this noise, like sound like great action. And when you're sort of like, you don't want to commit to it, but you're like peeking out the window or the door being like, what's going on there? And then I found myself like creeping in. I was like, that's like the episode that I got into Game of Thrones was like the big episode where people were like, everyone was being murdered and it was fucking war.
I was going to say, if you're looking for tits, you probably get more in Game of Thrones
than
Pornhub.
Probably. Like, and I think that was it. And I was like, well, maybe I'll start back
evil Norks
from the start here. And first episode, ditties everywhere.
But I got told that there was ditties from the start.
Yeah.
Lure you in.
Yeah.
And the ditties dry up.
No, they do. And I mean, I think like it's disrespectful.
To the ditty.
I think it's disrespectful to women generally. I think it's actually it's patriarchy taking control. You know what I mean? I think what they should do, if women want to be free the ditty, who am I to stop them?
Yeah.
Now, albeit I draw the line with my own daughters, they need to definitely keep their ditties covered always.
Yeah.
But other than that, let them loose.
Let them loose, yeah.
Exactly. But I got into Game of Thrones and I got into it a lot, and it was good. Like,
and did you watch to the end? And was the end as bad as what everyone said it was?
You know what? People are fucking picky.
Yeah.
And people like to argue. The last episode of anything.
How could you end
never
something
as good.
like it's the best TV show of all time? Probably, or whatever.
Like,
how could you have ended it?
But if you're like anything, if you're writing a script or anything, it has to do a circle. It's never just like it's all never always. Escalating. It's sort of the height of the drama.
It was all a dream.
And exactly. Do you know what I mean?
Want?
But it's like with Game of Thrones, like, well, everybody's kind of been dead. No, they're all murdered. Everyone's dealt with the grief, and we kind of just need to see who the boss is.
Yeah.
And that was like, well, give it the fucking Bramwell there.
Give Giggsy the end of the season.
Exactly. Give a Giggsy the end of the season. And what a legend. Andy Tate is, not Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
We need to be careful.
But see, like TV shows, movies, that sort of stuff. I would podcasts, watch that, and just like reruns of Porridge.
Right, okay.
That's what I do in my life.
Yeah.
Rewatch like episodes of Mighty Bush.
Yeah.
Or Still Game, like old sitcoms that I've seen a million times.
And just to chill out, is that, or do you?
I think it must be like a comfort thing.
Yeah.
It's like I know this isn't good.
Yeah.
And I think I can't like commit to like long term thing. I don't have attention span.
Yeah.
TikTok just
I think
that's everyone's brain.
That's what's happened a lot because again, whenever like I remember back in the day, you'd make stuff and put it on YouTube, and you'd be like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You'd be like, the only thing you do now is podcasts. It's long form, really.
Yeah.
But other than that, be like, it needs to be shorter. Like, it needs to be under 30 seconds. Like, I remember, make a video 2 minutes. No. A minute now, it's like 30. It needs to be under 30 seconds.
From the podcast, when you're putting a clip out, you're trying to cut out all those filler bits that you don't need.
And it's like that, but it has to come to a point where it flips.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There has to be something to change that, because otherwise, it'll be nothing.
I think that's what podcasts are. The growth from them is maybe the slight flip. I'm fast forwarding TikToks.
Yeah.
Fast forwarding them.
Yeah.
They're like a minute long.
Yeah.
And I'm going, Jesus, it's dragging.
Yeah, too much. But that's the thing that I think has been nice. I was going to say about like the House of the Dragon, the new Game of Thrones thing, because it's only on weekly. And the same with Bloodlands. I love Bloodlands. A lot of people don't, but I love it, and I'm a big fan of Jimmy Nesbitt, and I know it's silly, but I like it.
Oh, this is gritty drama.
Yeah, but it's like he's a detective trying to find bars of gold. Stupid, right?
Biscuit,
but yeah, you would, because that's a fucking prime biscuit. But that was it's just like you're going, who looks for bars of gold? Fuck up. But I watch every week.
Can I just say something? Would your wife like a gold bar? That seems quite similar to a wee white mouse. That chocolate
and
consistency
she would
seems quite
take
similar.
it, but she'd probably have never tried it. She'd be that sort. I've never tried it, then try it. Like when we met, she'd never eaten halloumi in her life or camembert, and she's a big cheese fan. Actually, you know, that's a level of culture I bring to people. I'm a cheese man.
You opened a wee window into your life. She didn't even know what halloumi was.
I know.
Can you believe it?
Unbelievable. But do you eat halloumi?
No.
You need to try it.
It's Nando's, isn't it?
Yes. Nando's do good halloumi, to be fair.
Chicken wrap of her with halloumi and pineapple on it. I've never tried it, but I'll give it a go.
See, I would get those on the side, not the pineapple, of course, because I'm not rare, but I would have the halloumi on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. It is great. But she would be like, I don't know, she's just a fucking weirdo. But the thing with like House of the Dragon, so we watch that together. We're going to start watching The Watcher together too. But I think it's nice going back because I think Netflix has made everything you just binge it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's done. So you get like, oh, this is fucking great. And then after 2 days, you're like, oh, wow.
The concept of,
that's
we'll
finished.
have to wait the next week for the episode. That's so alien to people now.
But I get so excited. Like last night, Catherine was working early this morning. So she was like, I'm going to bed early. And I was sort of like, had been, to be fair, all weekend looking forward to watching Bloodlands. And she's like, you can watch it by yourself. And I was like, I'm not going to do it. So tonight we're going to watch Bloodlands and House of the Dragon. Boom.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you. I'm happy for me too. But see, having to wait for that, it's nice. Because see, if it was all on Netflix, we'd be done both series.
Yeah.
Already.
It's almost like, it's like a wee event.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to.
Absolutely. And I think it's nice because there are things that she like will start watching. Like, do you and your girlfriend ever watch the shows you watch together? Is that something you won't do? Is not a TV watcher?
Well, because I'm not massively a TV watcher, which one I've got into, Taskmaster, right?
Right, okay.
Do you ever actually sit down and
I haven't
properly
seen
watch
it yet, but I've heard it's good.
I've always like come in halfway through an episode, not knowing what their task is. I'm like, well, this is a little shite. See, when you actually sit down and watch it, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
That's why I really like watching that with her. But in terms like, I find it hard. Like, I'm so selfish when it comes to like media. Like, it's like I want to watch what I want to watch. I can't like.
Would you watch YouTube, like just wee random things in there?
Yeah,
like
YouTube podcasts and stuff like that there, yeah. Like I would spend like a decent amount a month on like Patreons and stuff like that there, yeah. So you just constantly have podcasts to get through.
And do you like, are the podcasts you listen to, like what would be the go-to podcast you listen to? Obviously you don't have to say current ones because it'd be disrespectful if you didn't.
Well, like obviously all the Northern Ireland ones, you know, Dexter Young's fucking Shane Todd, Slag Guy, of course.
Yeah. See, I must be honest. That's one thing I don't do. I don't listen to local podcasts.
No, I do really like to. But English ones have a word.
Uh-huh.
And then there's another one called Hot Water Green Room podcast.
Yes, I like those two fellas, actually. Tony
They're the two guys, remember I said I was slobbering about?
Yeah.
And like we had a bit of back and forth. But they've given me a shout out on it a few times. They're actually really sound guys.
What'd you slabber at them for?
They had someone off camera and they were chatting to them, but he didn't have a mic.
Right, okay.
And like half the podcast was them talking to some guy off, and there's like, the audience have no idea what that guy is saying. There's no context. Like, just being a wee bitch. Like,
right, okay.
Full on deleted the comment afterwards, but they'd already seen it. So we had a bit of banter back and forth online for that. But actually, like, they can be sorted out with a gig in Hot Water and all. So they're sound guys. Like,
so they'll be like, right, they'll be waiting for you to feel. They'll be like, okay, let's see what you got.
Oh, well, they're fully going to hackle me. Like, let's see this kid crash and burn.
But like, I just don't know. But do you ever find, like, as I find at the minute, I'm kind of like looking through the podcast that I listen to, going, I don't fancy it this week. Do you ever just get fed up with them? And
what I sort of do with my Patreon, I sort of like rotate it.
Okay.
So I maybe like subscribe to someone for like a couple of weeks watching and go, like, I'm a bit bored of this, cancel that one, but subscribe to a new person. Just so maybe like I maybe have like 20-25 quid a month I would spend on podcasts.
And you feel like you get your worth out of that?
Yeah, but then I'll just bin one off.
Yeah.
Put a new one in to replace it. And then once I get sick of one, bin that up and, you know, maybe come back to it.
Because like I would do that with regular podcasts, but at the minute I was out walking my dog last night and was like, there's nothing here for me today.
Yeah. What about Blind Boy? Did you ever go with Blind Boy?
No, I just don't like him.
Yeah.
You know, I just find it like, I call me old fashioned, but I like comedy to be funny.
It went a wee bit too pretentious.
It's a bit like, and then the music in the background annoyed me a bit. I don't know whether I think maybe I'm a wee bit ADHD or something.
Oh, I do like
certain
the music.
certain things just irk me, and I just couldn't get past that. And I just find the tone of his voice to be a bit patronising.
I find like when he does like the hot takes, it's always such a reach.
Yeah.
In the point that he's trying to make, you're like, you're shoehorning this in.
And like, does he do funny anymore? Or does he just do that like?
Yeah, actually, good shout.
Yeah, and then like no matter what, if you then transition to be a serious podcaster and you've got a plastic bag in your head, it's sort of it's weird. It's not, you know, not for me. And it's SLY to be on Slabber and other podcasts, but it's just not for me.
Podcast?
I know, fair, because you know what? Sometimes I lose run of myself and be a bit too nice. But yeah, I just don't. But then there's certain podcasts that people are just, oh, that's all I'll ever listen to, and you're like, all right.
But you were telling me that your favourite podcast was our wee podcast, wasn't it? With
Yes.
Pete Giffen, Sean McLeavy and Kieran
And
Franco
speaking
every
of that,
Tuesday.
you have started that podcast with the two fellas. Obviously, again, it's not a favourite of mine because it's three white males.
Yeah.
You know, everyone knows I'm the father of diversity.
Yeah. We did black up that one time.
That's good. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
Bring it back. Make it black. That's what we got to be doing. You know, I'm the father of diversity. The dance troupe.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that, but yeah.
Oh, I see it now.
Yes, there you
I
go.
see it now.
Whatever. But yeah, so your podcast, how old is it now? You've done a few episodes now. You must be fairly deep in it.
I think we're recording maybe episode 19, 20 today.
Right, okay.
So yeah, we started basically. It was like obviously all the sort of bigger comedians in Northern Ireland have all these podcasts.
Yes.
But there was no podcast really from like open mic guys. So we were like, let's just do it from that perspective. And then as it's went on, it's just naturally turned into another general comedy podcast. But we really enjoy it. It's fun to do.
That's the key, isn't it? You have to enjoy doing it. I think that's because sometimes this is something that I always find irritating is when people are like, you should get guests on. I'm like, yes, but I used to do Boytown.
Yeah.
So when I started doing my solo podcast, I wanted to do that to work on bits, really. That was the sole reason, to get me speaking. Can I speak solely? Whatever, and that's how it started. So now I've come to the point where like I'll mix it up with guests because like you're on the general release, the public Sly Guy podcast. I do a weekly guest podcast on Patreon, but I thought, I was like, should I get Pete on? I was like, you know what? Now let's stick him on the regular one. Let's stick it on out there and put it out to just mix it up a bit. And I think that's, you know, as much as I am stubborn, I still do my solo stuff.
Yeah,
I enjoy doing it. But if it comes to the point where I don't enjoy doing it, I'll just not do it anymore. I think that's the key to doing it. And it's nice if you just can have, you know, three mates that can just actually go and make a podcast and it's fun and people are listening. You know, that's like.
Do you know what I think helps us? And people don't really realise this, is the fact that we weren't mates before doing it. We only became to know each other through doing comedy.
See, that's cool.
We're all from different. Kieran's Belfast, Sean's Newry, I'm Lurgan. We don't have any mutual friends. So people go like, maybe go, I'll start a podcast with your mate.
Yeah.
If you're doing a podcast with your mate, he knows every story.
Yeah.
You go to tell him about such and such. Oh, I know him. I was there. What are you on about? If it's people who like become friends on a podcast, every story you tell, you're getting a genuine, natural reaction, which I think sort of helps with like the conversations and stuff.
Yeah. And where do you record it, or where is it?
Record it in Kieran's house.
Right. Okay. Was that in Belfast? Is it
in Belfast?
Right,
yeah.
okay.
We done the episode with Mickey. We had Mickey on. We recorded that in my house.
Right. Okay. Of course. Yeah.
Lurgan.
Massive. Yeah. No, that's good. And do you have more guests lined up, or are you?
Well, we're gonna get you on.
No.
No.
No, I will, of course. You know,
but that's the thing, with three people, there's enough people there to generate conversation. See, adding that fourth person in, it's almost too much, but like, we love doing it, even just the three of us, but like getting the guests in, obviously at our level, helps us with numbers. Yeah. And getting the subscribers in, which has been a real help. Like.
No, that's, and again, I think what you're great at is the clips. You always have clips out. Which is good, and that
Sean's
always helps.
one to thank for them. He's really on the ball with the clips.
Yeah,
like.
but to say that's the key, and as much as you know, I this is, as you can see, recorded by me, but I've producer Ben does all the editing and stuff. Yeah. And usually he'd be here, but then sometimes, you know, like the last couple he's been here, and it's been a bit different because again, I sort of think I prefer either having a guest or just doing it myself. Okay. Because it's maybe a bit weird when he's just sitting there and I'm talking to him, so I think almost just hop on. But
I couldn't do a podcast on my own. You know, I couldn't sit here on my own. I would need to have that sort of reaction from someone.
But again, it's just something you learn. Like I think at the beginning I didn't know what I was doing, and I think over time you just get used to
trial and error.
Doing a lot of error. You know, a lot of that. But I think you just get into the way of it, and it's like, you know, if I was doing a solo podcast, I'd be like, what do I want to speak about this week? Like, what's happened? Is there anything I feel especially fucking annoyed about? Yeah. And then that's kind of how I do it. Whereas with a guest, it's simple. Like I did zero prep for you today. Because again, I think with guest episodes, I don't want it to be like an interview. Just want
to be too, you know? Like formulated. Like.
Yeah. So I think just come on, have a general chit chat and see. And again, we've got questions here, so we'll go through them a bit. Should probably actually get into them now. He's been fucking gassing for a good while here.
Look at that.
And I know you've
chin wagging away.
There you go. And you've our podcast to be at today as well. So, let me see.
Just put up on socials, yeah.
Pardon?
Did you put up on socials for a wee
Yes.
call for questions?
I will. And the questions, see, that's always good because you pop them up and it's you want more questions.
Do you find yourself
Impossible.
filtering the questions because you get some of the same sort of? Would you rather be this? Or
Yeah, like I like questions that are good. You know,
Yeah.
Like, would you rather have 10 dicks or have one
Yeah.
18-foot dick? Obviously, well, I know what that's
I'd rather
like. So
swallow
just,
this revolver
Yeah.
and have to answer that question.
But let me see. Yeah, like Sharon's asked this question here. Why does NI make the best tray bakes, and which one ranks number one in your eyes?
Well, we're not the only place to make tray bakes, no?
No, I think tray bakes are a
This is news
worldwide
to
thing,
me.
are they? Yeah.
But like,
yeah.
say, like your 15s and they're here.
I've been getting into they're not granola bars, but they're like I don't know, fucking what are they called? Shit.
Like a
But
protein
they're
ball?
Like,
Like a
no, they're like
thing?
toffee. They're like there's toffee in them. There's chocolate, and they're like wee bit of fucking. Oh, it's tremendous.
Right, okay.
Shout out to the bearded goat and Banger. Do a really good fucking. I can't remember what the name of it is.
Okay.
And Joxer and Banger as well. Big shout out to
I
those
need to get
guys
the
too.
Joxer.
Yeah, Joxer's
wanna
here
go.
in Hollywood, Nip Brown. Now, again, I don't want to ruffle any feathers, but I prefer Banger.
Okay.
Just
And Bangor was the second one, was it?
yeah, but
Okay.
you know what? They're both 10 out of 10. But Banger's just closer to my house.
It's like Blur, Oasis, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone has their own view on it.
Exactly, like I preferred Corner Shop.
Yeah.
You know, it's one song, but anyway. Tom wants to know. Oh, this is a good question, and this is actually good because as a former Boytown listener, you might appreciate this one.
Okay.
How do you think your former client, Boy George, will fare on I'm a Celebrity?
So he's going. So he is. I'm a Celebrity this year. It's
I-
everyone that's already been on it, isn't it?
I don't know. I didn't know Boy George was going on I'm a Celebrity, and I think that'll be a lot of fun.
Well, that's what it is. They're getting back all the because it's like the 20th anniversary. They're getting all the people back that used to be on it. So maybe he used to
Was
be
Boy
on
on it?
I don't know. He must have been.
Well,
I
you
love
know
I'm a
what?
Celebrity. I'm not in the reality TV
Yeah.
show. I do like it.
It's good. Like I'm trying to think. Like I like Married at First Sight. That's another show I watch, which is fun. But
The best I'm a Celebrity moment ever was Dean Gaffney putting his hand into the wee thing.
oh yeah, and he was.
He's
yeah,
like,
I'm trying to think. What was my favorite?
Amazing.
I'm a Celebrity. I can't even remember who some of the great ones are. I like Paul Burrell. You know,
he?
Princess Diana's butler. He's a big pussy.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
fucking good crack. I like that. You know who you should send in? Prince Andrew.
Prince Andrew, yeah.
Yeah. Just release him. See what he'll do.
Best reality TV moment ever is George Galloway pretending to be the cat.
Oh yeah, Big Brother. Oh, that was 10 out of 10. And
Chef's
Big Brother,
kisses.
Big Brother coming back is great news.
class,
I think I'm ready for it to come back.
But it has to be builders and admin workers. It can't be influencers.
You know what?
We want to see normal
That's
headers.
the problem too. I think that they may be afraid and put like a lot of like open-minded woke people in, you know, and it might just be a bit. They like you say, they need the proper, like a mix of everybody.
Yeah,
You know,
headers.
they need to fire it in
Older
there.
people.
Oh, they'd be the best.
Yeah.
The best actually celebrity was obviously whenever they thought that David.
David's dead.
David died. Oh, 10 out of 10.
Beautiful.
And he did die, and he's an idol of mine. Poor old David. R.I.P. Jack wants to know. I mean, this is another great question. Best looking Premier League players.
Matty Cash.
Don't like the hair.
Mm,
No, don't. That's like him and Grealish had the same hair, didn't
yeah,
they?
but
Just
that's why I
think-
always think Matty Cash is like a underappreciated version of Jack Grealish.
Yeah, you know what? Grealish's hair is the worst hair I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I just think like don't have that. Like you're
Yeah.
good looking back. Don't have like what is it going on at the back?
Mm.
Like what? Just don't have that.
Can you
You
relate to that going on at the back?
I
of
mean,
the hair?
yeah, like that's me. Mine's more. I have the Zidane haircut, so I'm sort of like
Yeah,
I
you
look at that and
do.
I go, "That's a good cut."
Yeah.
But nah, I just think I just don't get why. Like you've got all the money, do something better.
Yeah. What about yourself?
Who
Premier
I
League
think
players?
the best looking Premier League player? I know it's hard. You know, it's hard to pick. Like, you probably want a big goalie, wouldn't you?
A big goalie?
A big goalie. Like Alisson's
No,
a
I'm
handsome
not-
man, but it's bad skin. Like
He does have bad skin.
you know, but he's a handsome, big, bearded man.
Connor Cody, big Connor Cody fan.
Yeah, I think so. Like
Yeah. You ever seen interviews with him?
no,
Lovely guy.
because you like a rough man, like a hard man.
Maybe
like,
I do.
Yeah, it's
Maybe
he's
I
a
do.
bit tough old Connor Cody.
Yeah.
Um,
No nonsense.
no, who else? Like Mo Salah's a good looking guy. You know, I wouldn't say he's the top.
Okay.
But he's a good looking guy. I think Ronaldo's too clean cut for me. You know, people are like, oh, he's.
Yeah.
I think, you know.
It's
I
also a wee bit like, isn't it? I don't like the way
yeah,
he's a bit
no,
sort
I
of
don't like.
toys out of
Well,
the
no
pram.
Spurs. They're the ugliest team, so that's fair. I hate Spurs. But yeah, it's hard to pick. That's I need to have a proper think about
If
it.
we're going old school, Chris Kirkland.
Chris Kirkland off. No, you know what? Maybe that's the thing. I thought David Seaman was sexy back in the day.
What?
Maybe that's a problem.
That's just because he's for Arsenal, isn't it?
True, but he was like but he just looked like a big.
And quite a
porn
suggestive
star.
surname.
Yeah, I know. True, that was one of the first things like I actually had. He was the first name I ever got on a shirt. So like the first thing
was it a goalkeeper top?
it was a goalkeeper top.
Okay.
Yeah. So the first thing I used to tell people I'd Seaman on my shirt, but they're like, oh, "What the fuck?"
Because comedy was just crying out for you.
It was
Like.
just the crying out for me.
Yeah.
But I did like him. Obviously Thierry Henry was very sexy.
Yeah.
But here's the good one. John Joe wants to know: would a roast battle night work well in the NI comedy scene?
So what we thought about doing for if we ever go to do a live podcast, even just like a wee 50-seater, like the Black Box or something.
Yeah.
I would love it, and not do a roast between us three. Get other comedians on and just roast us. We get no reply.
Yeah.
I think that would be great crack. Like just get people to get horrendous.
I mean, you know what? I think on paper it would work well, but I think surprisingly a lot of people are very sensitive. I think a lot of people would take it to heart. You know,
Yeah.
and I don't think they cope well
Yeah.
with a roast battle. Whereas, like, I remember I did one once for Fraser Robb, and it was fun, but some people were so mean. Like I was happy enough with it, and it was fun. But like some stuff people were saying, like people, I was like, oh no.
One of the thoughts I
That's
actually
gonna be
had
bad.
was I'd love to get Fraser Robb there. I think Fraser
Yeah.
would be great at it. Like,
He is great.
He would go for it. Like.
Fraser Robb to me is one of the most like underappreciated comedians. I love him, and I think he's fucking brilliant. And hopefully, you know, I'd like to see him more. I'd like to see him get his flowers more. You
David,
know?
tell you my Fraser Robb story.
I'm keen to hear it.
What sounds dodgier than what it is, but
Yeah.
it did start when I was 16.
Yeah. Oh right, okay. Oh no.
I wanted to do stand up like from like, no age, like, and then when I was 16, I was like, right, I'm gonna do it. And I don't know why, but I had Fraser Robb on Facebook, and I just knew him was like,
Yeah.
must have been in like a sketch or something
Yeah.
like that. I was like, oh, he's in like stand up.
Improv and all, yeah.
Yeah, something like that there. So I messaged him and was like, here, how do I get into stand up? And he replied, blah, blah, right, brilliant, maybe
Yeah.
try the PAV. Bitched out, never did
Yeah.
it. And then I only started this year, so when I was 26. I was like, who can I message? Message Fraser again, completely forgot
Yeah.
that I messaged him, but I'd sent him the exact same message 10
10
years
years later,
before
yeah.
it. And it was just like, fucking hell, I completely forgot it. And the first time I met him, I was like, do you remember that message? He's like,
Yeah.
that's you, like.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there bald as fuck now.
Yeah.
He's like, that was me 10 years ago, like.
Well, see, that's it. And did he help you, or did he just?
He
tell
did,
you?
yeah.
I imagine he just like, don't.
Yeah, I told you once.
Yeah, I'm done with you.
Yeah.
Will there ever be a wee Nordy Shore reunion video? No.
No.
Darren Matthews said, fancy a gig in a GAA club? Absolutely, yeah. For sure, yeah.
You
Go for
skimming over Nordy Shore there?
Yeah, I'm just, you know what? I just don't think,
I remember coming home from school.
Yeah.
Had the new episodes out. I'm watching it now.
yeah, I just don't know what it would happen or what would be in it.
It would be
you know what I
shit.
mean? Yeah, I just don't see it being
Yeah.
a point to it. I think
Yeah.
it was grand of its time, but I think we're in different spots now.
Yeah.
You know, but so knows the answer to that. I mean, maybe the old ones will appear again. I hope not, but
Yeah.
maybe. Ashley wants to know thoughts on a second series of Bloodlands. If you're watching it, obviously I watch it. It's ridiculous, but I love it. It's the best soundtrack of any show. It's amazing.
What's it sort of?
It's like a big fucking western. The music in it's like it's fucking.
I'd
superb.
imagine it'd be like, like real gloomy sort of.
No, it's not like the fall. It's like proper.
Yeah, I was expecting
Yeah,
like the fall.
no,
sort of
it's
vibes, yeah.
good. I like it. You know, it's ridiculous, but I enjoy it.
I love a good
just-
theme tune.
Oh, it's like, what's your favorite ever theme tune for anything?
Red Dwarf
It's good, to be
Barber.
fair. Yeah, it is good.
or the Mighty Bush.
I'm talking old school, like shows I used to watch when I was a kid, like The High Road. They had a great
Never
song.
heard of that.
It was like cracking,
Nice.
and then The High Chaparral, which was a western my dad used to make me watch. 10 out of 10.
Okay.
Google those, YouTube them, whatever. Watch them. And it's back to my friend Sam Stay once again. Big shout out to you. Has said also best looking guys and girls in Married at First Sight. Because what I did there was read his question in reverse. 'Cause there's two questions here. He said
okay.
thoughts on Matt and Whitney Married at First Sight. Pieces of shit. Not
Is Married
fancy.
at First Sight? Maybe this isn't the guy with the knack. He's like,
No, that's
different?
that's 90 Day Fiance.
yes, sorry.
But
okay.
that's great as well.
I love
Yeah.
that guy.
You're talking about Big Ed. Yeah.
Is that what he is?
Big
Big
Ed.
Ed.
Top man. And let me see, the last question is from Naomi Mitchell. It wouldn't be a podcast without a
People
question.
listening when he pops up
She
somewhere.
says, aliens weren't on my Christmas list for Santa, and it sent me a link to a story, which, time traveller, which is the correct term, because you shouldn't call them time gypsies anymore. Time traveller from 2906 says humanity faces 5 horror events, including a real-life purge.
I mean, she's just lying.
Yeah, I mean, I like how you've picked it. It's a woman. We don't even know if it is. Let's see.
Oh, okay.
It
It is though, isn't it?
probably. A person outlandishly claimed to be a time traveler hailing from the year 2906, says humanity, blah, blah. The user is called Time Voyager on TikTok, of course, because that's where all... First thing you do as a time traveler, get on TikTok. They claim without any basis, obviously. I love that. They claim with no basis at all the 5 specific events in the next 2 years could alter the course of human history forever. They believe that action must be taken urgently. In that timeline, they indicated that humans will experience a zombie pig plague with new lockdowns and possible alien visit. In one clip, they said, "I'll be helping you all become aware of what's to come and help you all come together and save the human race." I want to know what the next thing is. Speed up. Oh.
This is someone who's just too into Doctor Who.
Yeah. I know, and I mean, this is the annoying thing. It's a good story, but make it more punchy. In January 2023, the first act will be passed. It'll lead to a full-on purge in November next year. Nice.
That's something to look forward to.
I'm keen for the purge. And they would find proof of aliens by Christmas this year.
Right.
So there you go. Nice. I mean, what I like to know is just calling her now, from 2906, yet she's specifically saying that the 5 things that will happen within the next 2 years.
There's probably no gender in that year.
True.
It's probably all done away with them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hold on. There's going to be new inventions like printable food and a Wi-Fi chip that'll cure paralysis.
I mean, but she's just saying things that are very plausible.
Yeah, exactly. Food will be printable.
Yeah.
Users online have reacted with strong spiritism, and some have cited the time travelers' predictions that are unable to happen. Nothing you've said is accurate, says one. But I mean, who knows? Until 2906.
Yeah, well, that's a Stephen Nolan show all over there.
I for some reason in my head when you said Stephen Nolan, I thought Stephen Hawking. I don't know, because we're talking about predictions in the future. There's a man. I mean, this is a good point to end the podcast.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Nolan? Do you like him? Are you a fan?
Do you know what? So I was thinking about him
today.
I don't.
Yeah, you don't.
I can't really go for it. Do you know what we were talking about yesterday? It's when he does his fake, I don't understand. You're telling me.
Yeah.
And you're telling me that there's a podcast in this studio, and you're like, yeah, I am, Steve. Yeah. It's that whole...
Yeah. But you know what?
Like fake surprise. It's stuff that he knows fine rightly.
See, in his defence, I always say this as a Nolan defender. He gets the people going.
He does.
Do you know what I mean?
Like showing the country.
And that's it. He gets the people going. And my point is, if you're annoyed about it, don't listen. You know?
I don't get the people that start their day listening to Nolan. I'm like, you're just going to be angry.
Because that's exactly it. Like, my dad's got into doing that, and I come in around his house, I'm like, why? There's enough to be angry about.
My dad was doing it on holidays in Spain. Getting a VPN to listen to BBC Ulster anymore. Are you daft?
Listen on the iPlayer. Fucking sitting there just before he gets his first pint a day at 10:30. He's fucking fuck Stephen.
It's nuts, like, isn't it?
Oh, what's going on in fucking Ardoyne today? Oh, it's like, just let it go.
I know. Let it go.
You're on your holidays. Go listen to some Spanish singers, have a good time. Exactly. And that's my motto to people. Just relax, take things easy.
Listen to the Sly Guy podcast. Listen to our wee podcast. Laugh. Enjoy life.
Exactly. There you go. Just in going, Pete, anything to plug? Tell us where they can catch you, where they can listen to our wee podcast, and any gigs you've coming up.
Our wee podcast, on YouTube, Instagram as well. Twitter is Pete Giffen, because I'm inventive like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rhymes with the name. Just check out the socials. I'll put the gigs up.
There you go.
About.
Follow Pete. Keep an eye on him. He's on the rise. And that was one of the predictions of the Space Time Traveller. The Time Gypsy said that Pete is one to watch.
Yes.
In 2020. We'll say 2023.
Okay.
Cheers for coming on, mate. It's been a pleasure.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Take it easy.
I'm the sly guy.